salary negotiations today. Yes. Employers don't like to have it because a lot of times they do know that many employees do somewhat deserve a raise, but they'll tell you financial constraints, it's not time, you've not been here long enough, we can't afford to give everybody a raise, so if we give one person a raise it'll cause issues, all those kind of pretty stories. But we employees love to have this conversation, but it can take time, and we really sometimes have to basically pump ourselves up to go into our boss's office and say, excuse me, I want to talk about my salary. So Nimi Oriye is in the studio with us, and again we're talking salary negotiations on the Talk Career Show with Nimi Oriye. Why is your name Onimi Adaba?
I don't know. Nimi Oriye.
Yeah. All right. Good morning to you, Nimi.
Good morning.
How are you? And Nimi is an HR practitioner, so he falls along the line of management and employers that don't also like having the salary negotiations before in his past life. His life has changed now.
I wouldn't say we don't like having the discussion. We just try to make it go in our favor.
How does that actually happen?
So I know many people have had that discussion with hating me today because they feel I made them earn as little as they're earning. But at the end of the day, it's a negotiation at the end of the day.
Yes, it is.
Yeah? So you can go either way. I mean, sometimes you look for a middle ground. Other times, the employer can also sense some desperation in you, and get you as far as little as he can.
Very true. So let's go about this. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of somebody who likely has been working in an organization, let's say 2, 3, 4 years. They got the first raise. Most times it comes after your probation period. Sometimes, likely, that raise will come when they've decided to keep you on permanently. But you feel that you've proven yourself. You feel that you've met your key areas that they've given you. What is that? Key areas of
KPIs.
What does it stand for? Key Performance Index. Have you?
Yes.
I shall know something. You've hit your KPIs, your Key Performance Index, and you think that it's time for you to get something else. You've shown your loyalty and your dedication to the job, and you believe it's time for your employer to also respond with something showing that they appreciate the job you're doing, they appreciate how much you're putting into it. How does this work? How do you gear yourself up? Do you go in with a file folder pointed to everything you've done right? Do you go and have a general conversation? Do you sort of feel around with HR or underneath the scenes to even find out if the company is in a mood or in a spree to raise your salary? How do you start this conversation?
Okay, well, first of all, I want us to also expand the view of this discussion. The scope of the discussion. So it's not just about when you're within an organization, when you're also changing company.
Well, I like those conversations.
Okay.
I like
when
those
you're also
ones.
changing company, I mean, you're still going to negotiate a salary to start off with. You understand? Yeah. So, go back to your question. Now, the different scenarios, because some companies will probably have their policies. My chair is going down. It's shrinking. All right. So companies will probably have their policies on promotions and how they review performance. Yeah. But there are other times when it's not so structured. Yeah. But now, if you're in a situation where it's structured, at least first of all you understand that there are performance appraisals that are going to be done at different times of the year. Yeah.
Most times twice a year.
Yeah.
Generally
twice a year.
Or once a year.
Some people that can afford it can do it quarterly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's also an understanding of what is expected from you. That's when you talk about your KPIs. Yeah. As an individual, it's important for you to also be able to track your performance, not just waiting for your performance appraisal periods to come up. But you also know and actually take note of the improvements you've made, take note of the goals you've hit, what is yet to be hit and stuff like that, because if you go to your boss to try and start up a salary negotiation discussion and there's so many things you're failing on, it's not going to go well.
True.
Yeah. So I mean, like I always say, it's about first of all you building your value to a point that they need you. Pretty much. They know that even replacing you, I mean, nobody is indispensable.
Yes.
But replacing you
will be difficult.
So indirectly saying that if you go for a salary appraisal before your time, it can work against you.
Yes.
Okay.
You understand? I mean, if you go, and then you don't go with an attitude of giving them an ultimatum. If you don't increase my salary by this time,
I'll walk
I will
away.
walk away. It's okay, bye bye.
And many employers are willing to say, okay, bye bye.
Yes, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, so it's also about the way you approach it. So you know who to meet. Yeah, I mean, you can start the discussion sometimes with HR. You can start the discussion with your line manager. Like I said, it depends on the structure of the organization and who is able to even make an impact in such a discussion.
But we can acknowledge that many people tend to actually be overdue for raises and salaries.
Yes.
And a lot of times, if the employee themselves do not actually push the conversation, sometimes it won't happen.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. I like to compare salary negotiations with the rent. Yeah. In this case, as the individual is landlord, okay, the company is a tenant. Okay, you realize that a certain tenant can hold a lower rent for a long period than somebody who is just coming in newly. I don't know if you get.
Yes, the person coming in newly
Yes.
can actually
So that
end
is-
up paying more rent than the
Yes.
person who's been there previously. Yes, got that.
So now understand that if you look at it as rent, yeah, it's always going to be difficult to negotiate even a higher percentage increase with the existing tenant, which is your current company.
That's why a lot of times when new intakes come in and sometimes they get paid more, people get upset.
Yes.
Because the thing is, I always like to tell people, it's also down to the negotiation skills of
It's
the
down to
individual
negotiation.
as they're
It's down
coming
to
in.
also the time, the economic situation of the country. I mean, imagine Nigeria now. Yeah. Let's say a year or 2 years ago, the amount you'll be willing to take is different from the amount you'll be willing to take right now.
Inflation is real.
Not just because of the value you've added, but also because of the cost of things. You know, if transportation is more expensive, if housing is more expensive,
If a cup of
I
Gary
mean,
is
you
more
factor-
expensive.
you factor all that into your negotiations, and all of a sudden you see yourself going much higher.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that's the way it is. You know, and like I said, what you'll be able to get in a new company in 2 years' time, yeah, is different from what you can negotiate with your current company.
So let's expand it, as you said, to the other side about when you want to negotiate for a job, because we just
Yes.
even acknowledge now that sometimes people coming in, even at entry level, experience that other people inside the company have, are able to sometimes negotiate better deals. So how do you put yourself in an advantage position when you're changing jobs to get a salary? Some people look for 100% increase. Some people
Yeah.
look for 50%. Some people just say, "Just give me 10, just get me anything, just increase it."
Anything.
So how do you put yourself in an advantage position in that kind of negotiation?
Yeah, well, the first thing I talk about is you building your own value. Yeah, because you have to have the right value for you to even negotiate favorably. Okay, when you're confident about your value, yeah. The other thing is also knowing what you're looking for in terms of what is the industry standard. Yeah, you take into cognizance the industry standard. You take into cognizance your own value that you're also bringing into whatever position it is you're going to. You understand? And then your lifestyle, your own your lifestyle, so your own expenses and all of that. What will be right for you? Yeah, you're going to also look at where is this company compared to where you're coming from. I mean, if you're taking a certain amount for a company on the mainland and you stay on the mainland, and then you move into the island, your expenses have increased. You understand? The inconvenience, the transport, and all of that has increased. Yeah. So now, are you going to be able to get something? I mean, if salary is the focus, yeah. I always advise against that. To do
I know, but salary.
But it's important.
Yeah, very important.
I don't think it should be the focus, but it should be one of the two focuses.
Yeah. So if
money
salary-
matters.
Yeah, money matters. So if the salary is going to decide on whether you make that move or not, you make sure you get the best of it.
And
You don't price yourself down. Now, the other thing about salary negotiations is don't limit yourself to just the money.
yeah, benefits,
The benefits.
healthcare, cars, sometimes housing, money,
certain other
furniture.
allowances that may not be paid on a monthly basis.
Yes, very
You
true.
understand, can also be factored in because sometimes the company you're going to may not be able to break out of their own salary structure, yeah, to give you the amount you're looking for. but they will be able to make some other concessions for you.
Very true, very true, very true. All right, Lagos, want to open up the conversation. Have you been involved in salary negotiations? Have you been able to look back and seen some errors? If you're in HR, what are some pitfalls you have seen in attempting to? If you've changed jobs and you got more money, but at the end of the day, the money wasn't worth the stress. Let's all have that conversation, the conversations that come around salary negotiation. You can join us right now. It is the Talk Career Radio Show. Nimi Orie is in the studio. Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277 2993 and 01-277-3993. Toll free, you have 08000 L Nigeria Info. You can also, of course, reach out to us on social media at Nigeria Info FM, at Talk Career NG. Reach out to Nimi as well at Nimi Oruye. So as we get the phone calls coming in, how do you decide what, especially if you're going from one job to the next? 'Cause I wanted to take you up on this industry standard. We know how loose Nigeria is. For even the broadcasting industry, I know we don't even have typically across board what entry level individuals would take. It's on a company by company basis. So it's sort of difficult depending on the industry to look at the industry standard and then put yourself on that balancing act and see where you meet up with your peers in the industry. It's loose in Nigeria.
Yes, it's it. You want to take that first?
Okay, we'll call back.
Yeah, so, I mean, at the same time, there's certain companies that you consider as the leaders of the market. You understand? What are the salaries in those companies? As much information as you can get, because normally salary is a
closely guarded.
Yes. You know, so as much information as you can get about that level.
Okay.
You understand? For the level you're going for.
Let's see. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. What's your name? All right, Alan, talk to us. Okay.
First of all, in knowing their values and the skill sets they have, I think it's much easier for a professional who knows exactly what he's bringing to the table. It's much easier for that person to request for a raise or negotiate a salary. But you know, in most companies, most of the jobs are kind of routine jobs, and the personnel know it, and that kind of diminishes their chances of request, unless it's more like a structured thing where every year there is a negotiation. Then we now come to this environmental context. Now, we know that in Nigeria we are a country with a huge population. That affects salary negotiation. In what sense? A lot of employers, like your guest said, they prefer to keep salaries down because businesses are run of profit. Now, when you have a huge population, the employers, they have a cliche. There are a lot of people out there.
They're waiting to take the job, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a negative cliche. Actually, it's something that our population knows. So now
It affords them that.
Right. They feel that they are really equipped. They know their values
And they prove it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Alan. And he makes that's environmental part of it. He makes a really valuable point, especially with the fact that if the job is not such a detailed, specific, specialized job, you have a lot of Nigerian employers who will tell you either take what it is. There are 5,000 people ready. Do you know how many CVs I have in front of my desk? And so it can really put employees at a disadvantage when they're attempting to negotiate. What's the way around that?
So, I mean, like we talked about, it's your value, it's your career. You understand? The caller will also agree that as much as you say there's so many Nigerians, at the end of the day, the quality people are actually few. Yeah.
So it's what you
What
bring to the
are
table.
the employers willing to pay for the quality?
At the end of the day, in that situation, the employer actually ends up suffering.
Yeah, they do.
The employer ends up suffering because he ends up losing the good hands to wherever will treat them better.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
that's
majority
true.
of the
But the
time.
people who move around more are the ones who are good.
They only realize when they have already let the person go.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's take this call. Hello, good morning to you. Good morning.
My name is Dixon.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I like this topic, but I had an experience.
Okay.
Your guest talked about the good hand and all that. I once went for a job interview, and I did everything, medical and passed and all that. And it got to, okay, let's meet with the CEO. We discussed a lot, and it was like, okay, it's fair enough. What you're asking for is within the projected salary range and all that is fine. When can you resume? And I said, okay, it was like 26th or the month, but I resumed on the 4th. He said yes. And I didn't get him back till about 2 days ago. I did about 2 years ago. And
Wow.
I was also said I was too proud. I wasn't willing to shift ground.
Wow.
And I asked myself, I know, why I mentioned I decided to because it talked about value.
Yeah.
I know what I'm bringing to the table.
You know what you're worth.
You made me an offer. I told you, okay, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I said, okay, no problem. You could resume on the 4th. And one of the challenges I have is that if an issue with the Nigerian system is a policy problem, where you don't even think it's a job update. Okay, we're not giving you the job
Yeah, I agree with that too. Hello?
at any time. I wanted to respond to this, please.
Oh, we missed the last part of that. The line
Yeah.
cracked. Can you repeat the last 2 sentences, please?
But hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can.
can.
We can.
I said I think it's a policy problem. I would like you to respond to it because they don't think benefit to get.
Okay. I think I hope I got it. But one, he was told later that he was too proud, that the employer was upset that he was not willing to shift ground. And the second part, he was alluding to was even when you don't get the job, it's just dead silent. So the fact that they don't even bother to get back to you and acknowledge we did the interview, we received your CV, we're looking at somebody else for now.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to the point of meeting with the CEO, like you said,
Yeah.
I mean, it's only right that you're
Informed or
and
whatever.
told,
Exactly.
yeah, that this is the situation, And interestingly, 2 years after, I mean, that's a long time. So,
So that position have not been filled. I don't think you want to work at that
For 2
company.
years.
Since. I don't think they're serious people.
and then also the CEO also the feedback of him being proud. I mean, it's funny because I mean sometimes people just give all sorts of excuses
Not to hire you.
You understand? I mean, I once had a situation where somebody was told he seemed to have an anger issue. And that's why he was not being hired. Not because he didn't do well through the interview or anything.
What would have made him angry in the interview to say? Wow.
You understand? No, but it's because he had a deformity. So the CEO's idea was that people who have such a deformity are usually hot-tempered.
Oh.
Yes. So that now comes to a personal bias of.
And if we had labor laws that was working in Nigeria, he could have sued them.
Yeah, but
Plain
that's if he
discrimination.
was told. He wasn't told.
He
that's
wasn't
why.
told to.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he didn't get the reason why not.
But let's talk about, I think it's a thin line because you've talked about knowing your value, and then looking at industry standards. So I know my value, I know what the industry standard is, I know what the experience I'm bringing to this job role. I can place myself higher. And looking and listening to what this last caller said, I'm here having this conversation, I'm looking at the role and I know what I'm worth, I know what others may be coming in are paid, and I'm telling you point blank, thank you, I would really be interested in the job, but this is what I think I deserve. This is what I know I'm bringing to the table, but now I'm hearing back that I'm proud. So it feels like it's a really thin line between pushing your value and getting to a point where you are not willing to negotiate, where the money is just too small to value you, and sort of conceding to what the employer wants.
Yeah, I mean, another thing is, remember that while you're interviewing with the company, you're also interviewing the company.
That's also
You
true.
understand? Because there's also a work culture thing that you have to be observant about. You understand? Because if your confidence is being construed as you being proud, yeah, then it will always be that way within that environment, and you probably won't even enjoy your stay there.
Very
You
true.
understand? So I mean, there's a thin line also between your confidence and arrogance. Sometimes, So some people may just miss it. by that. They may just see you not willing to bow down to their own intentions or whatever they're trying to put on you. You know, your resistance to that, to their own pressures. They may see that as you just being arrogant and they can't control you because they want people within their environment that they can't control.
So you bend,
I mean, at the end
you
of
get
the
the
day-
job and it may not be up to what you're worth. You don't bend and you don't get the job in this. Let's see if we can just push in this last call very quickly. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Mel.
I want to ask, when you go for an interview and you ask how much you would like to be paid, and you give a range, and they want you to be specific, what do you say? What do you do?
That's a
Because
great question.
I think, the bargaining part is always easier when you are coming in
Yeah.
and returning,
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. So he says the bargaining and negotiations are easier when you're coming in than when you're
Yeah, so
inside.
that's
but
kind of about giving a range. I'm like you can actually be exact about what it is you want, you know. And I mean, what they also advise is that you should give the figure first before they give you, because sometimes when they give you a figure,
you're like, huh?
it now make it difficult for you to ask for probably what you came in.
So you should give the figure first
Give the
and
figure
be
first.
specific.
Yes.
I think we should role play this next time. Next time Nimi is in the studio, Nimi will be the employee, he'll be the HR person. Me and Onime will be the employees. One of us will be trying to get a raise, the other one will be coming. I'm serious. The other one will be coming into. Seriously, we should role play because
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is we're having this conversation, but I'm very sure there are people who have faced somebody who said, "So what exactly do you want to be paid?" And people tend to go
it's something that you
blank.
need to have thought about before you
Exactly.
walk into the studio. Before you walk into the
It happens.
interview. Before you walk into the interview, you must have thought about it, yeah, and thinking about it with all the factors that it's gonna affect.
Yeah.
You understand? So you should be able to be specific.
All right. Nimi, thank you so much. We look forward to
you.
continuing this, which you can reach out to Nimi on Twitter at Nimi Oruye or at the Talk Career NG Twitter handle as well. It is 9 o'clock and it's time now for the world news.